with you. Give me just a moment. All right. So an introduction has been given. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm especially excited to be talking about personal branding and LinkedIn because I have experienced firsthand what LinkedIn and having a personal brand can do for you. So I want to ask, and I know you guys are all muted, but just by the show of hands, how many of you have experienced getting a job via LinkedIn or know someone who has? So you just put your hand up. I'm gonna continue talking, but I just want to know kind of who have experienced that. I see a couple of hands. Thank you. If you are not maximizing your brand on LinkedIn, I'm here to tell you that you are leaving money on the table. I'm gonna say that again. If you are not maximizing your brand on LinkedIn, you are leaving money on the table. So I want to read a quote to you by Leslie. It says, and it's really about what personal branding is. Personal branding is not really this complicated concept, but it does take time to build your brand. Personal branding is a set of characteristics that you are uniquely known for and exhibit through your actions, your words, and your appearance. Whether you want to be or not, you are a personal brand. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself, who you hang out with, what you do. Now, a lot of times we associate the word brand with business, right? This might be distracting. We associate the word branding with business. But if we take that away from business and we apply it to us personally, we are a walking brand. And so tonight we're going to dig into how do you uncover your brand and how do you begin to intentionally design the brand that represents who you are so that you can attract the right opportunities to you. Because here's the thing, when you begin to uncover your brand, you attract opportunities to you, and you are focused on what it is that aligns with what your goals are. And we're going to talk more about that. So simply put, your brand is your reputation. That's the easiest definition I can give to you tonight. That your brand is your reputation. Every single thing you do. I like to say everything about the journey matters in and about your brand, okay? So specifically, we want to talk about your brand in terms of your career. I like to call this your career brand. So your career brand is about, again, your voice, your appearance, your vocation, your personality, what you do, how you've done it, right? So when we talk about, we're going to talk about LinkedIn a little bit later, but when we talk about your career brand, think about these three questions that I'm going to give you. Here are the three questions. What is your, number one, well, this is before I give you three questions. What is your career brand? This is what I want you to be thinking about. What is your career brand? Okay. And before I actually give you, because I'm getting ahead of myself, before I give you those three questions, let me just say that your career brand marks your performance, your contributions, and your value. Your performance, your contributions, and your value. What have you achieved? So think about your education, the education that you have attained, the credentials that you have, the training that you sat through, all the activities that go towards your career, your professional life. It all plays and is going to play as part of your brand. Externships, internships, right? Achievements on your job, So when you think about your job, your achievements on the job, think about people you've collaborated with, systems you've improved, projects that you've led. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Relationships that you've built to achieve something. These are all a part of your contributions, a part of your performance and the value. Now, in my work as a career transition coach, the reason I've become passionate about this is because in my 15, almost 20 years of working in career development, one thing that I found is that a lot of people they have not intentionally designed their career brand. So I want to just kind of go back a little bit though. Your performance marks your accomplishments. And it's really important that we talk about this, because later when we go into LinkedIn, you're going to see how all of this will come into play. Your performance marks your accomplishments and achievements. So think people, places, technologies, books, the self-development that you've done on yourself, all right? Trainings, your contributions, what have you added? What have you added to the field that you're in? What have you done? So this now takes me back to the 3 questions that I mentioned earlier. So here are the 3 questions, and I want you to jot them down. Your 3 questions that's going to help you intentionally design the brand that you want to be known for is this. Number 1, what do you do? What do you do? Number 2, how do you do it? And we'll elaborate on these in a little bit, in just a moment. And then the 3rd question is, for whom do you do the work for? Now I'm going to use myself as an example. To answer that question, what do you do? I'm a career transition coach. How do you do it? I help career changers establish a personal brand to land their dream role. For whom do you do it for? Well, I've already answered that question. Career changers. So when you are going through this question, this is sort of kind of like an elevator pitch, a mini elevator pitch. And again, you're going to see how this will come and play a role into your LinkedIn profile. All right. So let me just go on to the next one. So here's the thing about excuse me, I'm sorry, my notes. Here's the thing about your brand. If it's not out there, no one knows you. If it's not out there, no one knows you. So it's important to be visible. Again, that's why personal branding goes hand in hand with LinkedIn. So when we think about visibility, we want to keep in mind that our branding needs to be consistent. And in just a moment, I'll talk to you about how your branding in your online presence. So your branding needs to be consistent across all of your communications. It needs to be focused and it needs to be genuine. If it's not genuine, then it's not personal for you. It needs to be genuine. It needs to be representative of who you are. So again, what do you do? What problem do you solve? So when you're thinking about that question, think about the problem that you solve. And a lot of times, if you are having trouble answering that question because you have a traditional job, totally normal. Because a lot of times people get stumped on that question. What do I do? I'm an accountant. Yeah, you're an accountant. But there's so much more to that. Go deeper. That's what I'm saying. And for whom do you solve that problem for? What industry do you work for? If you're an accountant and you help companies scale their profits, okay, that's going deeper. Then for where are the companies that you work for? What industry? Are they in a specific industry? Is it companies in technology, companies in, maybe it's for nonprofits. So what do you do, the problem that you solve, and for whom do you solve the problem for? So you're thinking about this in terms of companies that you do this work for. So we're going to talk now about your personal brand, promoting your personal brand. Again, I mentioned that you need to be able to convey your personal brand across all your career communications, and here they are. Social media, if you have a portfolio, if you have an online presence, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they all need to somehow be consistent. They need to be consistent. And then you have LinkedIn. Okay, so let's go to, I'm sorry, give me just a moment. I'm having, go to the next slide. Okay, sorry about that. So your online presence represents, as I mentioned before, here are your career communications. And this is where your personal branding needs to be consistent all throughout. Again, LinkedIn, your portfolio, your social media profiles, they all need to be connected. So now we're getting into, we talked about personal branding, what it is, the 3 questions that you need to answer to intentionally begin thinking about and designing your personal brand. Now we're going to get into LinkedIn. LinkedIn, first of all, LinkedIn, as I mentioned before, if you are not maximizing your LinkedIn profile, you are leaving money on the table. I actually counted, because I talk about LinkedIn and personal branding every day in coaching my clients. And recently I shared with someone how since July of last year, I've had 14 communications with recruiters in my inbox. 14, it's probably more than that. 14 recruiters in my inbox offering jobs, interviews. So when I tell you, if you are not maximizing LinkedIn or maximizing your brand on LinkedIn, you are leaving money on the table. So let's talk about parts of your profile. So we're getting ready to go over the banner, the headline, the headshot, and 3 areas that recruiters, hiring managers, potential clients, I have a crack in my voice, look to see and determine whether or not they want to continue looking at your profile. And so I use my profile as an example because I didn't get time to use someone else's, get their permission. So what you see in front of you, I have the arrows pointing at your banner, the profile, and the headline. And let me talk about the banner first. So if you are new to LinkedIn, or maybe you're not new to LinkedIn and you never paid attention to the banner, if it's just plain blue, I need you to go there tonight and put something up there related to your brand. As you can see here, I created my own, but you can definitely, whatever picture works for you. For instance, if you are in technology, find something that's technology related, a photo, technology related, and slap it up there. Okay, that's your banner. Then your profile photo needs to be a professional headshot. And it is as simple as taking your mobile phone, getting against the wall and taking a snapshot of yourself. These phones have great cameras nowadays. Take that, upload it. That's what I did with this picture. And it's not the best, but it'll do. Then you have your headline. And I want to camp at the headline for just a bit, because your headline is hugely important, very important. Your headline needs to stand out and hook the reader. But if you notice on my profile, and I want to mention this, if you notice on my profile next to my name, I have stars, and I actually did this using my mobile phone. And then I have Chief Meaningful Work Officer. Do you not know when people connect with me on LinkedIn, recruiters or people that want to, hire me for a speaking engagement, that's one of the first things they comment about is that name. I wasn't even thinking about that when I actually created it and put it there. So my point is, you want to make sure that you stand out. Now, you don't have to do this. That was just a free nugget. Okay, so let's talk about your headline. Your headline needs to stand out and hook the reader. You can also, and I mentioned that you can also hook people with a unique name, like I did next to my name. Using your headline, you need to illustrate your value and stand out. So let's look at mine for a minute. Now, you don't have to do what I do, but I'm going to show you other ways you can do this. So your headline need to make sure whatever it is that you represent, your headline needs to, your functional role needs to be in the headline. If you are a job seeker, okay? If you are a job seeker, you need to put in there career transition coach. You need to put in there sales manager, whatever position you are going for or you want to be searched for. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Then you need to put that in there, make sure that it's in there. But then you also need to, the value part of your headline comes at the back of your headline. So if you notice in my headline, at the back of my headline, what I have here, I help career changers navigate the career change to successfully land their next role. So when a recruiter is on my LinkedIn or they're doing a search for career coaches or head of career coaching jobs, I understand what those keywords are and I make sure that they're at the top in my headline, in my value proposition statement, which is what this is, okay? So you need to make sure that your role is in your headline or the functional role that you're targeting, or maybe the role that you're in now, and a mini pitch, which is what I added here, okay? Feel free to put your questions in the chat box as I'm talking. I can't see it right now, but I am going to answer your questions. So your mini pitch, so you combine your keywords and the value, which is the sales pitch, with results. You want to make sure that it's not just a statement, but it's a statement with results. I help career changers craft their personal brand to land their next dream role. See how I did that? Or I help companies maximize their profits at scale, or whatever the case may be for you. And you can even add, I like to tell people, numbers, percentages, dollar signs. Okay? You want to make sure that's in there. Okay. So now, and going to the next slide. So how do you optimize your headline for search visibility? So I'm going to now share my screen. I'm going to a different screen now. So this is my LinkedIn profile. And I want to show you my dashboard. Now, understand your dashboard is private to you, but I'm showing you mine. There are two metrics that's very important in the dashboard. One is who viewed your profile and your search appearances. And I like to point this one out. Your search appearances tells you how many or the number of times your profile has appeared in a search result. and it's given, and the number is within a time frame. So for me, for this number is between July 28th and August 4th. Okay. And this is where my searchers work. And these are what my searchers do. Do you not see the highest percentage of recruiters in looking at my profile? Now, this is the part I really want to camp on. Keywords your searchers use. So tonight, your homework is, I want you to go in your LinkedIn profile. Then I want you to go in search appearances, scroll down to the bottom to see what are the keywords that your profile is coming up for. Here's the goal. You want to come up for keywords that you want to be known for. So you need to understand, number one, what is your target? What is your target? Is your target a director of sales manager role? Is your target executive VP of HR? Whatever your target is, it needs to be somewhere in your profile, maybe several different places, and check here to see, am I being found for the reasons I want to be found for? Am I being found for the keywords and the reasons I want to be found for? So keywords here your searchers use are career coach, technology, because it's all throughout the profile. I coach software engineers. So technology is all throughout my profile, right? The other is executive coaching. So you want to make sure that you are being searched for, or you're coming up in searches that you want for keywords you want to be known for and found for. I'm hoping that's clear. So going back, let's go back to, give me just a minute. So how to optimize your headline for search visibility. If you are, so we went over optimizing your headline for search visibility as a job seeker. Now we're going to talk about your search visibility as an entrepreneur or a thought leader. All right. I'm having trouble here. Give me just a second. So here's the thing. This is the exercise, and I want you to jot this down. So if you are a thought leader, and maybe you're a job seeker, and you want to but be a thought leader. You want to be known for a thought leader, maybe in career development, a thought leader in sales, a thought leader in healthcare administration, whatever the case may be. This is how you do it. So this sentence right here, fill in the blank. I help people blank. And my approach is different because of blank. This is the 3 questions I gave you earlier. This fill in the blank will also help you to arrive at an answer as well. So I help people. And so the example of, if I was to fill that in, the example of that, it would be, I help people navigate career change, and my approach is different because I teach them how to uncover their personal brand to attract job opportunities to them using LinkedIn. But that is so long. I don't want all that in my profile, in my headline. So maybe I'll write, maybe the shorter version of this is the next bullet down. I help people navigate career change and uncover their personal brand to attract job opportunities. Do you see how that's shorter? Still keeping the same meaning. Don't have the need to put all the words in the previous statement. I shorten it so that I can put that in my headline. All right. So I see some questions here, and I'm going to look at them in just a few. So back to the dashboard, we talked about your we talked about who viewed your profile and your search appearances. You want to make sure that where it says all-star, that you've reached all-star on your profile. That means only means that your profile is complete. All right. So optimizing your LinkedIn profile. So another way you can optimize your LinkedIn profile is in your about section. Your personal brand is a story. So in your about section, use that section to share a story about your work. One of the things that I tell my my coders, my boot campers, my software engineer career changers is use that about section to highlight their projects, their technology projects, their apps that they've developed. Put that in there. And then at the bottom of that, say, you know, put something personal in there. Like, you know, when you can find me at Starbucks sipping on a chocolate mocha when I'm not coding, something like that. Just to kind of, you want to infuse something personal in there, because again, personal branding is all about you, and you want people to get to know you, what you're about, your values, what you stand for, what you are passionate about. And so you use the about section in there. You also, the about section is also a way for you to not only share your story, but again, an opportunity to infuse keywords related to what you want to be known for. All right. Experience. One thing I want to say about the experience section, do not, this is the best practice for resumes, do not post your resume on LinkedIn. Your resume is an appetizer. The interview, they get the full course meal during the interview. So with your experience section, you just want to probably kind of highlight, maybe 2 bullets, and then highlight what you do on that job. Okay, but definitely include it all in there. Include all your experience, your volunteer, your projects, everything that you do and work on. You want to use that experience section also to optimize your profile using keywords. That's another opportunity. All right. And then skills and endorsements. So skills and endorsements is another way to optimize your profile, right? So, and how you do that is usually, I actually kind of, when LinkedIn, if you've been on LinkedIn for quite some time, I actually remember when they first rolled this out, and you would just get questions about, you know, I probably get a question about, you know, is Donnell experienced in, I don't know, sales? And you would answer yes. And it was just that simple. I have my career changers in the technology space. When they come out of the boot camp, I say, hey, have your classmates. So the classmates, actually, they endorse each other, just so those skills can get in there. So as you can see, you have different skills. So mine says human resources, career counseling, resume writing. But it's been some years, so you see a lot of numbers on there. Some people have even higher numbers. So skills and endorsements are ways to increase or optimize your profile to get the keywords that you need on there on your profile. Now, let's talk about engagement. Oh, I'm sorry. Engagement on LinkedIn. You want to spend about 20 minutes on LinkedIn, maybe 3 to 4 times a week, because that's part of you maximizing your brand. If you're not on there, no one knows you. And when an employer goes on there, a recruiter goes on there, they're actually checking you out. So if you want the recruiter to get to know you, make sure that you're posting, you're sharing articles related to your field. You're commenting meaningfully. You're liking posts. You're sharing your thoughts. You don't have to, you know, be on there all day. I literally am only on there maybe 3 to 4 times a week. Some people are on there every single day and spend a lot of time on there. Those are your influencers, okay? Or people that are entrepreneurs that's part of their living. So you want to, and that's also a way to get more people added to your network. The more people added to your network, the more people see your posts. And that's how you begin to attract those opportunities. You'll get people in your inbox. Hey, can you do, can you speak on such and such? Or, hey, do you coach on such and such? Or maybe it's a recruiter seeking you out for a particular job. The last 2 jobs, the jobs that I'm on now, the companies, I had never heard of them. The recruiters reached out to me. But had I not been on there building a brand, I would have not come in contact with them. Okay, so it's very important that you are on there intentionally and meaningfully. So I provided some resources for you. The personal branding workbook is basically kind of talk a little bit more about personal branding and help you think about the questions that I've asked you. And also the LinkedIn workbook, it gives you more about, LinkedIn and how to optimize your profile. I'll provide that to Katrina so that she can give that to you guys. I'm going to, so now I'm going to look for questions. So let me just see here. How do I? So someone asked, does it make a difference if you only have the free versus paid version of LinkedIn? Good question. No, it does not make a difference. In my experience, it has not made a difference. And some people that I know and clients, it has not made a difference. But the thing, you get more on LinkedIn when you have the paid version, like you get access to the LinkedIn learning. You can, and there's a lot of content on there to learn about everything from I don't know, how to answer a phone to how to think strategically. It's just, so that's the difference. It's, you really want to focus on building that brand on there, your as I showed you, your profile, maximizing that profile, leveraging the relationships that you have on there, connecting with people. I don't know how many people I've connected with on LinkedIn that have now become people I do business with. And so to answer your question, short version, no, you don't need the free, the paid version, but you could. And if you want to ask a question, feel free to raise your hands and ask and come on video to ask the question. I'm open to that as well. And Miss Katrina will unmute you to talk. I'm just going through the chat here. Okay. So I hope that in, oh, okay. I hope that during this time that you have understood what it means to build a brand. And one of the things that, but if we still have like a little bit of time, I didn't know if we were going to have time, but one of the things that I really wanted to show you was okay, we have time. Thank you. I wanted to actually go in and show you, demonstrate to you how a recruiter do their search. So give me just a minute. Cancel. I thought I almost did something. Okay, so when a recruiter I talked about search appearances. So when a recruiter do their search, let's say, because I work with software engineers, let's say they do a search for software engineer. And the reason I want to show you this is to highlight the importance of your headline and you being intentional about it. So when a recruiter is searching for a developer, they might use the term software engineers. Well, do you see here how many software engineers are on LinkedIn? Over 12 million. And so how do they break that down to determine who they're going to reach out to? One of the things is, let me just show you this. Software engineer, software or consulting engineer, software engineer. If I click on more or go down, software engineer at EOG resources, software engineer, everybody has the same thing, software engineer. Nothing is really differentiating them from setting them apart. So when a recruiter is doing his or her search, they're using terms like, let's say, plus, I don't know, front end developer. You have a shorter search result. The key to this is you want to set yourself apart. So let me just find one that would probably like jump out at people. So all these different people, if I'm going to go through this slowly, you can see there's really, the formula is the same. So it's really important that you have set yourself apart. The headline is different. You have a value proposition statement at the back of your headline. Instead of saying front-end developer, software engineer, nothing differentiate all of these people from one another. It has to be something that stands out. And I actually kind of learned this firsthand from recruiters sitting in trainings, that this is what they're looking for when they do their searches. So it's important that your headline doesn't just have a title, but it also have a value statement at the back end, as I've showed you earlier in the presentation. All right. So I just wanted to show you that tidbit. I see some questions coming through. Maybe. Oh, okay. So that's actually my presentation for personal branding and LinkedIn. In the presentation, I've also left my contact information and again, resources to help you kind of further think about this. Personal branding and LinkedIn is a lot to take in, but my goal here was to help you become intentional about uncovering your your personal branding and designing one that is intentional so that you can attract opportunities to you. All right. And you do this through optimizing your profile. It's not a set it and forget it kind of thing, but you actually go on there and you are constantly iterating what you have down there. And I also encourage my clients, go look at other people's profiles and see how they've structured theirs, especially my career changers and coming from coding bootcamp, because this will be their first time landing a job. I recently had a client that landed a 6-figure salary job. after, you know, he's done, and he landed his job because as a result of his brand being promoted on LinkedIn. We had just talked about his contract position, or whether or not he should look at contract positions. And the next thing I know, he landed. So if you're not maximizing your LinkedIn profile, you are leaving money on the table. Thank you so much for having me, Katrina, and Donnell. Thank you so much for the invitation.
All right, I would like to say thank you so much, Lynn, for coming on. I'd also like to thank everyone who was able to come on. If you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask of Lynn, here's your opportunity to do so. I'll give a few minutes to leave it open. You guys can raise your hand and I'll unmute you so you can talk, or you can put it in the chat so she can go ahead and answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Somebody said awesome. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, Dr. Dwyer, we will send out the information. I will also send out the recording of this particular LinkedIn. We will send out the Web Institute for this, for LinkedIn and branding, the personal branding. We will send that out. Lynn will make sure that we have all of the resources that she's making available to you guys, and we will send that, we will forward them on. So I'll make sure that you have them before the end of the night.
Awesome. Thank you. It's been fun. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking about personal branding and LinkedIn, and feel free to email me your questions or send them however Ms. Griffin have, allowed for that to happen.
Lynn, there is a question. It says, how would someone best go about changing what we're known for? Oftentimes we hold jobs that we know how to do, but our entrepreneurial passions take us elsewhere.
Oh, that is a great question. I like that question. How would someone best go about changing what we're known for? Basically, you start with what your target is, right? Like when you understand where the direction you're trying to go. Like I went from being in traditional employment to now this entrepreneurial route. But the thing is, what I did in my traditional employment was a natural progression. So it's going to depend on if it's something totally different. It's all about positioning, because when you're working with, as personal branding is about, well, when I'm working with my clients, in changing careers, it's all about brand positioning. And how do you do that? Well, what have you done in the back end to prepare yourself, to position yourself for this next role? Did you receive any trainings? Have you attended any webinars and workshops? And begin to now put that in your profile. Begin to talk about it, share it out on your LinkedIn profile. Talk to people about it. One thing I do believe in, when you are wanting to be known for something and it's changing, talk about it. One of the best jobs that I've ever had and I truly love came from an acquaintance I had never met. We talked on the phone because we were on a business call and we were put on hold, and we got into conversation. I was talking about, what I'm doing, what I look to do, and all that good stuff. Next thing I know, we exchanged numbers. A week later, she texted me. So you need to begin talking about what you want to do. But on the back end of that, what are you doing to prepare yourself to position yourself for that next role? Because it's not as simple as, oh, well, I'm going to switch from being a doctor to a software engineer. This is what I want to do next. Well, that doctor who now wants to be a software engineer has gone through some coding boot camp. List that on your profile. Begin to share articles out on your LinkedIn profile. Begin to talk to people about what it is you want to do. So that's how you are positioning yourself for your next role. I hope that answers your question. Oftentimes we hold jobs that we know how to do, but our entrepreneurial passions take us elsewhere. Absolutely. Agreed. Agreed. Great question, Gregory. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. I really enjoyed this.
All right, so if no further questions, I will tell everybody again, thank you guys so much for joining our Wealth Institute and presented by us tonight. We want to say thank you so much, Ms. Lynn George, for taking the time to talk to us about personal branding and LinkedIn. I hope that everyone enjoyed the presentation. As I said, this is being recorded, so we will definitely send this out to all of our members, as well as it will go out with the recording and the personal information of Ms. Lynn George. That way, if you have any questions, you can reach out to her directly. If nothing further, I would like to tell everybody, be safe, enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you so much for coming on.
Good night.
Latrice, do you have anything you need to say, Latrice, before I let everybody off? Latrice?
No, I just want to say thank you everybody for joining, and thank you, Ms. George, for presenting tonight. The information was a wealth of knowledge, things I didn't know, so I will be using it.
Thank you.
And one last thing, you guys stay tuned for our next one in the Wealth Institute. Our next thing that will be up, which will be, we have Miss Lakeisha Ricks. She'll be talking about resume building and interviewing success. So stay tuned for that, and we'll send out that information where you'll know what the date is, and it's probably the time is going to be 6:30. So if nothing further, thank you guys so much, and you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay safe and be great to your family.
Good night.